Hey y'all, it's Fortune Frankly and welcome to Fortune Frankly Fridays, where we do DIY home decor and more. Today we're going to be sticking to that DIY home decor part, but it's going to be a little different. I'm going to switch it up on y'all a little bit. But don't worry. Today we are doing an upcycling of an object. Now before I tell you what it is that we're going to be upcycling, I'm going to give you some clues, okay? Hint number one. This object is a big rectangle that's made up of smaller squares. Hint number two. You can reach inside of the rectangle to grab something. Hint number three. It's a little bit old school, but it's still fairly easy to find. I know what you're guessing. It's a Pez dispenser. I know. Y'all are good. You're really trying. What if I told you that this thing was metal? An arcade game? Y'all still a little bit off, okay? I'm just gonna break it to you, since I know we'll be here all day. We will be upcycling a newspaper box. So for those of you who've never seen one of these before, or may have not noticed you've seen one of them before, it is a rectangular box made of either plastic or metal, if you're fancy, where you can put in a few coins to receive the daily newspaper, or maybe weekly at this point, maybe even monthly. If you have one in your city, stake it out. I want you to see who is using this newspaper box. And if you don't see anybody, take the box because you're gonna need it for this DIY. So step one, find a newspaper box. She's cute, she's a little rough around the edges, but she's gonna be a beauty. I did a lot of online research for people who upcycled newspaper boxes, and a lot of people just found them. But if that's not the case, you may have to buy it. Now I found mine on Facebook Marketplace, and I actually found quite a few in my area, but let me tell you, some of these prices were astronomical. I was like, at that point, I'll just make the box from scratch myself. To get started with this project, I had to scrub this baby down. And let me emphasize that this was rusty, dusty, and crusty. And she had been sitting outside to the point where leaves were falling into the hole. The fiberglass here in the front was broken, and so anything could just go into there. I did everything I could to clean her out without really sticking my hand in there, because I don't stick my hand in holes like that. Let me just say that. But I got her pretty clean. I used some soap in there and made sure to scrub as good as I could. And there were actually some rusted holes in the bottom that were pretty convenient for letting out the water. I set her aside to dry and basically didn't even touch it for another month. When I started working on her again, I used my sander to make sure everything was as smooth as I can get it, and this made it a better surface for me to paint. I also removed some of these parts that are removable that I didn't want to paint, including that broken piece of glass in the front. I removed all the screws. I'm going to replace them with new ones. If you use your drill bit to hold part of the screw and use your wrench on the other part, you can actually get out a lot of rusted screws pretty easily. This will also make those parts easier to clean. So once she was all clean, sanded down and everything, I went with this TSP substitute to just make sure all of the little dust particles were off and that this was ready for painting. Especially after sanding, you want to make sure that nothing is lingering that would interfere with your paint. My newspaper box was missing a screw at the top that would keep this from falling open. So I went and bought a screw that would fit that area and just screwed it right in. Now it's time to paint. Now this might be a little bright for some of y'all, but I decided to go in with this berry pink spray paint color in a gloss finish. This is gonna go in a specific area in my house where it would match the color scheme. Y'all better stay tuned for that. But I have a theme, I have a vision here, and this pink color is gonna do it for me. So I gave everything on the outside 2 coats of this spray paint, and I ended up going through about 2.5 cans. Make sure you give this time to dry in between the coats of paint that you put on it. And I made sure to get a little bit of the edges on the inside where that door opens. I chose not to spray the inside because like who's gonna see that? Not me. And I thought the pink and black look, you know, was on trend, you know, black pink. I'm also gonna replace the piece of glass or like fake glass that was in the front. It is polycarbonate, so I'm just gonna drill some holes into it where it's gonna screw into my newspaper box and put her in there. I also spray painted the tops of these screws to be pink just to blend in. Alright, she's almost ready, and while she's getting done, I'm gonna have a word from our sponsor. I'm just kidding. I'm not sponsored. You know, in a typical newspaper box, you'll see the name of the paper printed on the sides, on the front. They have the newspaper in the front. It's like bam, bam, bam. I made these stickers on Canva. Also put in some graphics on the front bottom and at the top to show through the glass. And this baby is complete. Here she is in all her atomic pink glory. Alright, welcome back. So this is one of the biggest upcycle projects I've ever done. Kind of something out of my wheelhouse traditionally, but I thought it came out pretty well. I already know what your favorite project of this video is, obviously, but I would love for you to tell me what you would do with your own newspaper box. I've seen people turn these into record holders, public libraries like on the street, and you can even use these to sell newspapers. Who would have thought? If you're feeling lucky, you can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. And if you're not feeling lucky, I'm so sorry, but I hope to see you again in the near future. I hope everyone is staying safe out there, reading newspapers, and as always, thanks for watching.